Discover the secrets to effortlessly accessing Rutherford County property records online, completely for free. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer, a seasoned investor, or honestly just curious about local real estate, this explainer literally has everything you need. You know, property records are absolute public gold mines of information, but let's be real. Navigating government websites can sometimes feel like trying to solve a puzzle in the dark. Well, today, we're turning the lights on. We're going to walk through exactly how to find, access, and actually read these records without spending a single dime. So let's just dive right in.
Here's our quick roadmap for today. We're going to start with an intro to property records, then talk about the two different Rutherford counties, searching the online databases, interpreting your search results, troubleshooting common issues, and finally, we'll wrap up with legal and ethical rules.
All right, Section 1, Intro to Property Records, Unlocking Real Estate Secrets. Simply put, property records are official, legal documents created and maintained by government agencies. They track the history, ownership, value, and even the physical characteristics of land and buildings. So you might be wondering, what makes these legal documents so incredibly crucial? Why do they actually matter? Well, think about it like this. Whenever land changes hands, someone has to create a deed. Whenever a county needs to fund public services, they assess property taxes. And all of this activity generates a massive paper or digital trail packed with ownership history, tax assessments, and legal descriptions.
And these records, they're an absolute goldmine of practical value. Say you're prepping for a real estate investment. You can use these records to verify current and historical ownership. Or maybe you're a homeowner just trying to budget for the year. You can check your tax assessments and rates to make absolutely sure you aren't overpaying. You can even research neighborhood trends, look up building permits to see if, that fancy kitchen renovation was actually permitted, or find out if a property has a lien against it. It's essentially the ultimate background check for any piece of real estate.
Moving right along to Section 2, the two Rutherford counties, a jurisdictional trap. Okay, right as we're ready to start our search, we hit a massive plot twist. Which Rutherford County are you actually looking for? Seriously, this is a jurisdictional trap that catches so many people totally off guard. There are actually two prominent counties in the U.S. with this exact same name. On one hand, we've got Rutherford County, Tennessee. It's a rapidly growing area where public records access is governed by the Tennessee Public Records Act. Because of this, their data is pretty decentralized, split up among independently elected officials like the Assessor of Property, the Trustee, and the Register of Deeds. But then, on the other hand, we have Rutherford County, North Carolina, which is governed by a completely different state statute. North Carolina heavily consolidates its property tax and land records under the Revenue Department and the Register of Deeds. So step number 1 for any search is absolutely confirming which state your property is actually located in.
Section 3. Searching the online databases, your step-by-step guide.
Once you've got your state figured out, let's look at exactly where and how you can conduct these searches online. The absolute most crucial point here is knowing which URL to use. If you're looking in Tennessee, you're going to want to use the Assessor portal at rcpatn.com. It's an awesome tool where you can search by address, owner name, or parcel ID to find all those ownership details, zoning, and historical sale prices. But if you're researching over in North Carolina, you'll be using the COT Systems eSearch portal or their county GIS mapping site. North Carolina lets you search by owner name, account number, or PIN. Now, I want to give you a very specific step-by-step hack for those of you searching the North Carolina database. First, navigate to cothosting.com/ncrrutherfordexternal. When you hit that login page, don't worry at all about creating a paid account. Just click the Sign In as a Guest button right there on the left sidebar. This super simple trick allows you to totally bypass the registration fees and access decades of historical land records, specifically deed indexes from January 1, 1974 all the way to the present. And it's completely 100% free.
All right, Section 4, Interpreting your search results, reading the data. Now that you've actually found the documents you're looking for, let's break down how to read them, because finding the data is really only half the battle. Understanding it is where the real power lies. When you look at an appraisal report, it essentially translates a physical property into raw data. Take, for example, a single-family home on Crestland Avenue in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The digital data you pull up online should perfectly match the physical characteristics of that house. The records are going to tell you the exact square footage, the zoning classification, when it was built, and even specific building amenities. And here's a pro tip. If you ever spot a discrepancy, like, say, the online record says a house is 1,500 square feet, but you know it's actually 2,000, you can contact the assessor's office to get that corrected. You can even cross-reference multiple sources like previous deeds and permits. Getting that information right might actually positively impact your property taxes or future resale value, so it's a real game changer.
I do need to offer a quick word of caution though, especially when you're interpreting these search results using those really cool interactive GIS maps available for both Tennessee and North Carolina. As the official disclaimer clearly states, boundary depictions do not represent legally binding surveys or recorded plot acts. Basically what this means is that whether you're using the TN or NCGIS map, those digital lines showing the property boundaries are strictly for general reference. They absolutely do not replace a professional land survey performed by a licensed surveyor. So please, never build a fence based solely on a GIS map.
Moving to Section 5, Troubleshooting Common Issues, Overcoming Roadblocks. Look, even with a great guide and the correct URLs, you might still run into a few discrepancies or paywalls. It happens. First off, if you're searching North Carolina active deeds, you'll probably notice that the images accessed on the guest site have a copy watermark slapped across them. If you need a clean, certified paper copy, there is a small statutory fee, just $5 for the first page. Over in Tennessee, accessing modern deeds usually requires a paid subscription or actually making an in-person visit to the Register of Deeds office to download them. But seriously, don't get frustrated. If you hit a wall, there are dedicated support lines ready to help. In Tennessee, you can just text the Smart Rutherford platform at 629-218-4977, and for North Carolina, you can call their GIS support desk at 828-287-6136. There are actual real people at the county level ready to assist you.
Finally, Section 6, Legal and Ethical Rules, Using Records Responsibly.
Let's touch on a few rules of the road before we finish up. Using public records responsibly is incredibly important. While these databases are open to the public, we just need to keep in mind that the information inside them should be handled with care and respect for privacy. Also, always remember that while these tools are unbelievably powerful for research, verification, and historical digging, the information provided in this explainer is for educational purposes only and should not be considered legal advice. If you're dealing with a property dispute, a boundary issue, or really any binding legal matter, you should always consult a qualified professional, like a real estate attorney or a licensed surveyor. So I want to leave you with this question. What hidden history or untold value will you uncover in your local property records today? Will you find out who owned your century-old home before you, or perhaps discover a fantastic deal on a new investment property? The tools are literally right at your fingertips. If you found this explainer helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with others who might find it useful. We'd also absolutely love to hear what fascinating details you plan to uncover in your own county's records, so drop a comment below. Happy searching, everyone!